Hello, beautiful humans. I know that this is a phase of life. A phase? I hate when people say it's phase, but sometimes there are phases of life that you got a lot of decisions going on. And it would be awesome. Like, I know that there's the Bible, which is a ton of pages and a ton of books on instructions for our life, but wouldn't it be nice if God would, send you a text real quick on just what to do in this exact situation? I understand. I have lately been thinking of three very powerful prayers to kind of align myself with God's will. And um, in the Bible, it says, the prayer of a righteous man is powerful and effective. We can find that in James 5:16. And as we try to grow in righteousness, and that includes growing in our prayer life, and praying for things that God would want us to pray for. I mean, we can talk with Him and pray with Him about whatever, but when you're asking for good things that the Bible talks about being and doing, that's almost like a circular effect of becoming more holy and righteous and like Him, and then having effective prayers because of that, and then you again pray for yourself to walk and live in God's will. It's like a circle. Does that make sense? So, this is actually part of a previous podcast episode that I really wanted to pull out and focus on because I thought, if I do say so myself, it was pretty cool to list these three. But, I think God brought these three to mind. I've been praying these three powerful prayers in my life a lot to really align me with Him. And as you'll see, as I list all three of them, it's really like when you imagine the armor of God, right? Like putting on different pieces of armor to protect yourself in just everyday life and spiritual warfare. This is like having the mind of Christ, an eternal perspective, and keeping in step with the Spirit. If you have those three, which I'll talk about soon, it's like your gaze is constantly ahead on eternity, and your mind will always be able to respond as Christ would have responded, and your steps are continuously in line with the path that He's laying before you. Like, how can you not be walking in His will? Now, I understand we're all human and we make mistakes, but I mean, if we truly do have the mind of Christ and keep in step with the Spirit, that is what we're doing. So, those are the three powerful prayers, and I lay them out a bit more after the intro. Hey girl, welcome to Money and Mental Peace, a podcast for Christian college girls who are done with feeling overwhelmed by the weight of student loans, cramming for the next exam, and, oh yeah, trying to figure out God's calling for your life. I get it. Don't worry, I got you. I know exactly how you feel. I'm Kara, a recovering overachiever and debt-free college graduate, and I'm going to help you find peace to quiet your racing thoughts. You will walk away equipped to bust anxiety, walk in God's purpose for your life, and even graduate college debt-free. So come on and enroll in the most stress-free and debt-free class you've ever attended, Money and Mental Peace. Grab your cold brew and TI 89 because class is now in session. But really, He directs our future. And if we are just so much in line with Him, then we can, can fall into place more. This isn't exactly on certain prayers to pray episode, but lately I have been saying these particular three prayers, and I think it could help you envisioning this right now. So the first prayer is to have the mind of Christ, because my goodness, with the mind of Christ, you would know what perspective to have things in, what next step to take, what wisdom to guide you to in decisions. Just praying for the mind of Christ. Next is an eternal perspective, because this is not like life and then like heaven's afterlife and it's kind of ethereal up in the clouds and you're just bored all the time. You could almost envision our time now is like before life. Like this is when we're still in the womb, right? We're still in shadows. We're still in black and white. When we get to heaven, that's true life. That's true adventure and connection with God. And so what is this time on earth but preparing us for that time? And so asking God for an eternal perspective. And then also asking him for help to keep in step with the Spirit. I need to go find that verse. I want to read it to you. But it talks about mind controlled by the Spirit is life and peace, and then also keeping in step with the Spirit. And it's somewhere in like one of Paul's letters. But just imagine if you have the mind of Christ, you're looking ahead toward heaven, and your feet are in step with the Spirit, then you can't but be led to where you're directed to go for college or to major in or whatnot. Those are like 3 good options in what to pray to grow closer with him. Hey girl. Okay, so before you run off to calculus, if this podcast has brought you any encouragement, would you please write a review on iTunes or take a screenshot, post it in your Insta stories, and tag me. Let's tell the rest of our stressed sisters that more money and peace can be attained outside of the conventional way of doing college. See you next time. Love and prayers, Kara. Guys, don't forget what I mentioned in the last episode. The first 5 people to email me this coming month, January, or the rest of the month, January 2022, will get a free hour of coaching with me, and we can go over any of this stuff in this episode or anything that you're frustrated with paying for college or figuring out how to handle your anxiety. I'm not a social worker therapist, let me be clear, but just like we can talk about stuff that I've done in the past. Anyways, so email me at info@moneyandmentalpeace.com and we'll get you set up. And if you're listening to this probably after January of this year, still reach out to me. I'm sure I'll periodically do sales and stuff, and I'd love to connect with you. Have a great day.